All right, good evening and welcome to the March 2026 meeting of the Omaha Public Power District Board of Directors. Thank you all for joining us in person at the Omaha Douglas Civic Center and remotely via WebEx. I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. With me in person today are my fellow board members, Amanda Bogner, Mike Kavanaugh, Sarah Howard, Craig Moody, Mary Spurgeon, and Eric Williams. John Hudson let me know ahead of time he'd be unable to attend tonight. We'd also have CEO Javier Fernandez, Steve Bruckner, our general counsel with the Fraser Stryker Law Firm, and members of our board meeting support staff. OPPD's executive leadership team and subject matter experts also are participating in today's meeting in person and via WebEx. Additionally, we currently have about 20 members of the public at the Civic Center and 12 attendees on WebEx. Those people are consisting of OPPD employees and members of the public. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I'll now ask a member of OPPD's physical security team to provide the safety briefing for our location.
Good evening. Welcome to officially warm weather, at least inside. As we normally do, we're going to start off with a quick safety briefing and talk about our physical, psychological, and cybersecurity. If you're not feeling well, hopefully you're not here and you're at home, staying hydrated and resting and seeking any medical assistance as needed. Always know the location of emergency exits, first aid kits, as well as fire suppression materials. In this room, we have emergency exits on either side of the room. In the event of severe weather, we would use those stairwells and go down into the parking garage, which I don't think we need to worry about today. In the event of any type of evacuations, again, we use those side stairwells, go outside, and then meet on the north side of the building for accountability reasons. We have extra first aid equipment also accessible to us in the back if anybody does need any help. Always remember to try to keep your areas free of slip, trips, hazards, and stay alert for any types of changing conditions. If anybody needs any assistance, find someone from OPPD and we'll get you assistance as quickly as possible. For cybersecurity, always be cautious of suspicious emails and unknown links. Do not click on anything that seems untrustworthy. And always try to identify any spam types of text messages or phone calls. Psychological safety is essential for a productive collaboration. We encourage curiosity and continuous learning. We ask that everyone speak and act with respect, embrace constructive conflict, value diverse perspectives, build trust through transparency, and give everyone a voice, invite questions and ideas. We always want to remember our core values. We have a passion to serve, we honor our community, and we care for one another. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's run through our guidelines for the conduct of the meeting. This regular board meeting will follow the agenda made available to the public on OPPD.com. This meeting is being conducted in person with WebEx conferencing and is being recorded. Our board meetings have public comment periods on the agenda. Comments made by all parties during the meeting are part of the official public record. After the introduction of action items, board members will ask clarifying questions of staff, and then I'll ask for public comment. After public comment, the board will conduct its discussion of the matter and then vote. Also, before we adjourn, there will be an opportunity to comment on any other matters of district business. We'll take comments in the room first and then via WebEx. For in-person attendees, if you wish to make a comment, please line up behind the microphone. Please state your name, address, and the name of any organization or person you represent. Each individual will be allotted 3 minutes per matter pending. To assist you, we'll use the timer that's in the room. Ms. Lane will signal you when 30 seconds remain, as well as when time is up. If you have written materials, please deliver them to Ms. Lane. For WebEx attendees, if you wish to make a comment, please send the meeting host a message using the chat feature or utilize the hand raise feature. Detailed instructions can be found on the OPPD website at the link shown on your screen. When I call on a member of the public to speak, please affirm that we can hear you before starting with your comments. Please state your name, address, and the name of any organization or person you represent. Each individual online will be allotted 3 minutes per matter pending. To assist you, we'll use the timer that's on your screen and signal you when 30 seconds remain, as well as when the time is up. If you have written materials, please email them to corporatesecretary@oppd.com and they'll be received on our behalf. For all attendees, please direct your comments to me. I'll either respond to you directly or defer response to another board member or an officer of the district. The board values and welcomes civil, respectful, clear, and concise communication from the public. During public comments, speakers should refrain from repetitious, profane, or irrelevant comments. Speakers shall refrain from polling the board as such vote is not on the agenda and is prohibited by law. Ms. Lane, will you please take the roll?
Director Bogner?
Here.
Director Kavanaugh?
Here.
Director Core?
Here.
Director Howard?
Here.
Director Hudson is absent. Director Moody?
Here.
Director Spurgeon,
Here.
Director Williams.
Here.
Notice of the time and place of this meeting was publicized by notifying the area news media, by publicizing in the Omaha World Herald and Nebraska Press Association, OPPD outlets, newsletter, OPPD.com, and social media, by displaying such notice on the first level of OPPD administrative offices, and by emailing such notice to each of the district's directors on March 13th, 2026. A copy of the proposed agenda for this meeting has been maintained on a current basis and is readily available for public inspection in the office of the district's corporate secretary. Additionally, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is available for inspection on OPPD.com and in this meeting room. The consent agenda action items this evening are as follows. Item 6, approval of the February 2026 meeting minutes and March 19th, 2026 agenda. Item 7, SD1 Strategic Foundation Monitoring Report, Resolution number 6751. Item 8, Sale of Property for Public Infrastructure, Sub 3454 Sarpy County, Resolution number 6752.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lane. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions to the consent agenda items, I need a motion and a second to approve them.
Motion to approve.
All right, thank you. These action items were discussed at the all committees meeting on Tuesday, March 17th. Do any members of the public in the room have comments on these consent agenda items? If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium. All right, seeing none, do any members of the public on WebEx have a comment? Please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. All right, with no comments, Ms. Lane, please take the roll.
Director Bogner,
Yes.
Director Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Director Corr,
Yes.
Director Howard,
Yes.
Director Hudson is absent, Director Moody,
Yes.
Director Spurgeon,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. The first board discussion action item is item 9, Vice President General Counsel, Appointment and Compensation Approval, Resolution number 6753. Whereas Board Policy BL1A Board OPPD Officer Relationship provides that upon recommendation of the President and Chief Executive Officer, the Board of Directors is responsible for the appointment and compensation and benefit approval of OPPD officers, including vice presidents. And whereas Board Policy BL2 Board General Counsel Relationship identifies the General Counsel as a member of the executive leadership team and key advisor responsible for ensuring OPPD's legal compliance and protection and providing independent legal guidance to the board regarding governance, fiduciary duties, regulatory compliance, and legal risks. Whereas the CEO has recommended the appointment of Pete Fisher as Vice President and General Counsel, along with approval of his proposed compensation based on his qualifications and the responsibilities associated with the General Counsel role. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the appointment of Peter Fisher as Vice President, General Counsel, and the compensation is set forth on the attached exhibit be and hereby are approved effective May 11th, 2026.
I move that this resolution be passed.
All right, we need a second.
Second.
CEO Fernandez, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you so much. I would like to clarify, I think this is something that's unique. We've never had such an action in the almost 80-year history of OPPD, and that is to hire an employee of the district to act and to be our general counsel. So before I go there, I would like to take a minute to acknowledge the Fraser Stryker law firm, who has basically served on that function for almost as long as the district has been in operations. My entire career here at OPPD has been, I've had the pleasure to work with Steve Bruckner, who serves as our general counsel today. And Steve, you've done a fantastic job for the district. I oftentimes joke with you that you bleed as orange as we do, in trying to always serve the customers of OPPD. So I want to thank you for your service and really the fantastic service that we've gotten from the Fraser Stryker law firm. Now, as the times continuing to go forward, we find ourselves in an increasingly complex energy landscape. Things are not getting any easier or any less complex or any small for any of us. And so for an organization of this size, of this complexity, it is very, very important for us to have a solid legal leader that helps us with the legal strategy for the district. And having that contractual relationship with an internal general counsel is very, very important. Mr. Fisher, if approved, will be the general counsel for the district, but also helping the board navigate legal issues. Our intention is to continue to work with different law firms that specialize in different matters and continue to work with those law firms to continue to provide that legal service. However, all of these would be led and coordinated through the Office of Legal Operations and the Vice President and General Counsel, that would be Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher comes to us from currently, he is the Associate General Counsel at Black Hills Energy, multi-state utility that serve many different customers and different electricity and natural gas. He has served in different positions, different capacities at Black Hills for many years. Also, in the middle, he had an opportunity to work for a SAP Biotherapeutics, which is it was a startup company that went list that company on the public markets, and he told me all about that experience, and really interesting to go from working at a utility to working for a private company, doing something different than utilities, and then back to the utilities. I am very pleased with the appointment. It was a competitive process. We got over 200 applications. I want to call out our talent acquisition team, who did a fantastic job going through all of those and recommending a list of candidates that we ended up interviewing. And we selected Mr. Fisher to be considered by the board tonight. He holds a law degree from the University of South Dakota School of Law. He also holds a Bachelor of Business Administration and a Master of Business Administration from the University of South Dakota School of Business. His professional membership, he's an associate in the Association of General Corporate Counsel, the American Bar Association Section of Business Law, the State Bar of South Dakota, and as of yesterday morning, the State Bar of Nebraska. So the compensation that you have in front of you, it follows the same process that we use for all employees at OPPD, and especially vice presidents, where our total rewards team runs analysis for all utilities, regional, national, different sizes, and they come up with a range of salaries. The mean or the median salary, and then we have 20% below and 20% above. And so based on Pete's experience, he's not coming to us brand new, right? He's had many years of service as Associate General Counsel for a very large multi-state utility. We take all of those things into account, and the recommendation from our human capital team was to negotiate a starting salary that is at 92.2% of the midpoint of that salary. So not even quite at the midpoint, but really acknowledging the years of service and experience that he has. So that's the salary that you have in front of you. And just a reminder to the members of the public, as a public power utility, this is it, right? We don't have stock, we don't have bonuses, we don't have other things that other companies have. So what you see here is really the total compensation for salary for the individual. In addition to that, of course, we have all the benefits and health insurance and pension plan, et cetera. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have or comments.
Thank you. Any directors have any comments? All right. Well, thank you. Do any members of the public in the room have comments on this discussion action item? If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium. All right, seeing none, do any members of the public on WebEx have a comment? Please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. Okay, with no comments online, Ms. Lane, please take the roll.
Director Bogner,
Yes.
Director Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Director Core,
Yes.
Director Howard,
Yes.
Director Hudson is absent, Director Moody,
Yes.
Director Spurgeon,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you. And with that, Mr. Fisher, I'd like to invite you to the podium to say a few words, please.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Chairman Core. Thank you, Javier, members of the executive leadership team, the board, also Steve at Fraser Stryker, my wife Jenna here as well. Thank you. It's truly been a pleasure getting to know the board, the executive leadership team over these past several months. I appreciate the warm welcome you've given me, that you've given my family as well, as we embark upon this new chapter. Moreover, thank you for the confidence that you've placed in me with this appointment as Vice President and General Counsel for Omaha Public Power District. It's truly an honor to join an organization with such a strong commitment to public service. Public power holds a unique responsibility in the communities it serves, and that is a responsibility that I take with the utmost seriousness. I recognize that delivering reliable and affordable electricity is fundamental to economic growth, public safety, and quality of life here in Nebraska. This is a dynamic time in the electric utility industry. Utilities across the country are seeing growing demand, truly unprecedented demand, and along with that, technological change. And with that comes added legal complexity. At the same time, I see OPPD as making important long-term investments to ensure reliable service for decades to come. Having spent much of my career advising utility leadership in the energy sector, I understand the critical importance of thoughtful planning, strong institutions, and sound legal guidance to support long-term success. As General Counsel, my goal, and truly my purpose, is to be a trusted advisor to this board and to this leadership team, helping OPPD to navigate complex legal and regulatory matters, support strategic initiatives, and continuing operating with the highest standards of integrity, accountability, and public stewardship. Again, I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to serve this organization and the communities that depend on it, and I look forward to working with each of you to support the important work ahead. So again, thank you for your trust and your confidence.
All right. Thank you for those words and welcome. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, sincerely.
The next discussion action item is honoring the service of Dennis D. Jorgensen, Resolution Number 6754. Whereas Dennis D. Jorgensen faithfully served as a member of the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District from 1983 to 1996, offering steadfast leadership, sound judgment, and responsible stewardship on behalf of the district's customer owners and the broader community. And whereas service on the board of a public power utility represents significant public trust, requiring dedication to the principles of reliable, affordable, and environmentally sensitive energy, as well as accountability to the customer owners of the district. And whereas during his tenure, Dennis D. Jorgensen served as vice chair of the board and chaired several of the board's standing committees, supporting the district, its management, and its employees while upholding the principle that service to the district's customer owners always remain paramount. And whereas following a long and meaningful life devoted to his family, his business career, his public service, and to the greater Omaha community, Dennis D. Jorgensen passed away on February 24th, 2026. And the Board of Directors wishes to formally honor his memory and express its appreciation for his dedicated service. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the Let me start over. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the board hereby recognizes and honors the service of Dennis D. Jorgensen, expressing its gratitude for his unwavering commitment to public service and his faithful and valuable contribution to the governance of the district. And be it further resolved that the board extends its sincere condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of Dennis D. Jorgensen. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be entered into the official records of the Omaha Public Power District, and that a copy be presented to his family as a lasting expression of the board's respect, admiration, and appreciation.
I move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
All right, Director Moody, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'd love to. I did not have the opportunity to serve with Mr. Jorgensen, but I do have the distinct pleasure of being a good friend of one of his children, Chad. And so I wanted to take a couple moments first to acknowledge a few things. One, his son Chad and his son Matt are in the room today. And so we really appreciate you being here. And I believe his wife Margaret and one of his daughters Jenny are online here. So his family is in attendance, which I'm really pleased by. I did get the opportunity to go to the funeral services, and one of the things that I noted when I read the obituary, Chad shared it with me in advance, and one of my first thoughts was, Chad, you missed mentioning that he served on the OPPD board. And what I realized when I went to the funeral is that that was a small little speck on the accomplishments of a really exceptional human being. And furthermore, I think as I listened to stories about his life and the kind of person that he was, what really went straight to the top was the way in which he showed up for his friends and family. It was really heartwarming, and it was really motivating, honestly, in many ways. So I want to take a moment and just sort of honor his 5 kids, Matt, Jenny, Chad, Rio, and Cricket, his wife, Margaret, and his grandchildren, Cole, Ruby, Avery, Connie, Lindy, and Wright. He was a family man first. I also want to take a moment and read, because I didn't get a chance to know the man, obviously, but after leaving the funeral, I thought to myself, I never met him, but I'm going to miss him because I felt like I got to know him so well through that funeral. But in the obituary, I've read this a few times, and I think it really resonates with us as public servants. So I'm going to read from the obituary for a moment here. Dennis instilled in his children and through them his grandchildren a deep sense of civic responsibility. The Omaha World Herald once quoted acquaintances who described Dennis as a conscientious, a class person, as honest as you can find, wholesome, a man who will put the public good over all else, and a person who everybody likes. At heart, he was an optimist. In the wake of his diagnosis, he reflected on how fortunate he was to have lived such a full and meaningful life. But I think, again, never met the man, but based on the conversations I've had, my conversations with Chad and what I heard at the funeral, that really resonates with me. And I want to come back to this, a man who will put the public good over all else. I think that for me helps me center my role here on this board in a way that is, as you've noted, increasingly complex, increasingly hard. Keeping the public good at the center of everything that we do, it's a good reminder. And I appreciate the opportunity to get to know a little bit about him and his service. And I want to extend condolences to the family. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Kavanaugh?
Thanks, Matt. I had the privilege of serving with Denny on the OPPD board. His last 2 years were my first 2 years. He was obviously a well-accomplished business leader in our community, and it was very apparent in his board actions. He was very helpful to me in navigating my first couple of years on the board, and I certainly always appreciated that. I'm sorry to learn of Denny's passing and offer my sympathies to the family. Thank you for joining us today.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bruckner, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Director Corr, members of the board. It's a privilege to speak on this resolution. And first, I want to extend my personal condolences to the family. I'm so grateful that members of the family are able to be here, both in this room and online. Let me describe a little bit of how I knew Denny. At the time that he served on the board, I was very much the young guy sitting off to the side trying to learn as much as I possibly could. And I did from Denny Jorgensen, because he was simply extraordinary. at everything that he did. Everything that he pursued during his time as a director demonstrated the kind of excellence that this utility has come to personify, in my view. And he was good in the political realm. He served as the chief of staff for a U.S. congressman. He was good in business. He was a CEO of a company, was an early innovator in automated teller machines, for example. Just extraordinary at everything he did. So for a young person to see that, it demonstrates the kind of excellence that's really expected here. That's what I learned from Dennis Jorgensen. It's my privilege to be able to speak. And again, my sincere condolences to the family on your loss. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this resolution.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for those words. Are there any other directors that have comments? Okay. Do any members of the public in the room have comments on this discussion action item? If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium. All right, seeing none. Do any members of the public on WebEx have a comment? Please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. All right. Ms. Lane, will you take the roll?
Director Bogner,
Yes.
Director Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Director Corr,
Yes.
Director Howard,
Yes.
Director Hudson is absent, Director Moody,
Yes.
Director Spurgeon,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you. CO Fernandez, I'll turn it over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair Corr. The President's report, I'm going to start, as I always do, just with a high-level summary of our generation fleet and how it performed for the month of February. As you can see here in the front of your screen, the capacity factors for Nebraska City Units 1 and 2, 59% and 70%, North Omaha Units 4 and 5, 63% and 34%. North Omaha Unit 5 had a lower capacity factor than the others. It had 1 week forced outage due to boiler water chemistry work and operated for 12 days at reduced load following the unit startup. So that explains that lower capacity factor. Just a reminder that as we enter the spring timeframe, this is what we refer to as the shoulder months, where we are taking units offline, getting them ready, tuned up, ready for the summer months. So we're going to start seeing some of those in my reports in the coming months, getting ready for the summer months. Next, our balancing generation station fleet. You can see very low capacity factors. Again, we weathered the storm, the winter storm Fern, where we had high capacity factors, but really in February was relatively mild, with very small capacity factors. The most important part here is not how long the units ran, but how many times they had successful starts, which is very important. When you're running these units that run very quick, they are called within minutes. Having successful starts is very important. So the availability of these units range from the mid 80s to 100% availability, and that is something that I want to call out because it's really important, and kudos to Troy and his team for having that high level availability of these units. Even if they don't run, important to know that they can and they're ready to do so. Capacity factors for our renewable fleet. I'm going to talk about this next month, so this is just a teaser about how many renewable resources we have in the state of Nebraska. Not many people know, and maybe it's a good opportunity to share the very large percentage of renewable resources that we have in the state of Nebraska. So I'll talk a little bit about that next month. Capacity factors for our renewable portfolio, 39% total combined. Just a reminder that this includes our wind, solar, and hydro. So the capacity factor for community solar was 17%, for Platteview Solar, which is our 81 megawatt facility, 20%. These capacity factors are expected to continue to rise as days get longer and irradiance is more effective. Capacity factor for wind with 37.9%. It's been a little windy this past month. Next, I'm going to talk about assisting customers. The Energy Assistance Program is an important resource for our customers and OPPD to address energy affordability challenges throughout our service territory. One of the most important programs that OPPD receives funding from is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or what we call LIHEAP. This is a federal program that Nebraska receives funds, and we are one of the beneficiaries. In 2025, LIHEAP accounted for 82% of the energy assistance funding that OPPD received. Very, very important part of that portfolio. OPPD and MUD hosted a Heat the Streets event where the CEO of the National Energy Utility Affordability Coalition, Katrina Metzler, presented on trends in energy assistance and LIHEAP funding from a national perspective. This perspective and awareness is important as OPPD continues to advocate for our customers facing financial challenges and to raise money through our energy assistance program. In 2025, our energy assistance program distributed $366,000 to over 960 households across our service territory. Now I want to take a moment to share some other customer solutions that we offer to our customers. We have other solutions to help customers pay their bill, including our pay plan, payment installment program, and our level payment plan. In 2025, the payment installment program assisted nearly 7,600 customers, providing them with a flexible payment plan in their time of need. 26% of our residential customers are actively enrolled in the level payment plan, providing customers with a consistent bill amount each month, which is a lot easier to plan. And we also have ways for customers to address their energy usage. Our energy assistance program, our energy efficiency assistance program has weatherized 152 homes in 2025, which is a 46% increase from 2024. So very active in this area. Unfortunately, it's never enough, but we're trying to do as much as we can. The next slide, please. It was cold that day, Saturday, March 7th. So this is not a February event, but I think it's such an important event and ties to the energy assistance program that I just described. The Heat the Streets Run and Walk for Warmth continues to be a critical funding source for the district and for MUD as well. We hosted the 19th annual Heat the Streets event on Saturday, March 7th, which is the largest fundraiser supporting both utilities' energy assistance programs. Our preliminary results show the event raised nearly $228,000, which will benefit nearly 600 OPPD and MUD households. I just checked before coming here, and we broke a record once again. So congratulations, Director Bogner. Now someone else has to beat you. But we broke a record in funds raised and in participants, which is really, really good to hear. Next slide. This is an announcement. We invite you and the public to our first workshop for our integrated system plan next Tuesday, March 24th at 5 p.m. We ask that anyone who wants to attend register ahead of time at oppdcommunityconnect.com/ISP. If you can't make this virtual workshop, don't worry, we will have recordings of all the workshops available on OPPD Community Connect. The workshops will have summaries of the project, easily digestible content, and anyone can join the process and give feedback at any point. This is going to be an online meeting, but if you can register ahead of time, it would help us just manage logistics of the meeting. And last, and certainly not least, remembering those who we lost in the line of duty, Larry McGrew died on May 16, 1951 from injuries sustained from a fall while working on a pole near 59th and Military Avenue in Omaha, Nebraska. He was 35 years old at the time of his death. And with that, I conclude my report.
All right, thank you for that. Now is the time for, comments from the public on other items of district business. So if there's any members of the public in the room that have a comment on other items of district business, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and any organization you represent.
David Bagley, 4611 South 96th Street. This morning I heard the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan King, and Air Force guy talk, and he mentioned STRATCOM. STRATCOM in Sarpy County, which I imagine is a significant customer to OPPD. And I think OPPD has a special duty to provide low cost and reliable power because the time zone and they're doing stuff down there, secret stuff down there in Bellevue, and they need that power. They can't afford any blackouts. And what this board has done, you've taken the reliable baseload power at Fort Calhoun and substituted a bunch of unreliable and intermittent wind and solar. And by the way, Javier, you probably know, I'm working quite diligently as a lawyer to stop 3 wind and solar projects here in Nebraska. So mention of Winter Storm Fern, here is a very in-depth article with a lot of math showing that during Winter Storm Fern, Texans paid 766 million extra dollars because they didn't have wind and solar, because they have wind and solar. And the conclusion by the author is that, well, there it is. If ERCOT down there in Texas had added an additional 10,000 megawatts of gas on its systems, Texans would have saved $1.27 billion. I was out in York County this week. You've got your project out there. And I impressed upon the York County Board how inefficient solar is. And here's another interesting article in Cerro Gordo County, Iowa. They want to put in a 500 megawatt solar facility on over 2,000 acres. But on 58 acres of land, you would have the same accredited capacity. So, and if it was really the full Monty, so to speak, to get that 500 megawatts of accredited capacity, you would take over 100,000 acres of Cerro Gordo County, Iowa, which is 29%
30 seconds.
of the land mass there. So I was also out in Butler County, and those people picked up on it right away. Said, what are we doing? 10,000 acre farmland, converting it to solar that's only 25% efficient. Oh, and last thing, Cuba has achieved net zero, so they're way ahead of OPPD. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your comments. Does anybody else in the room have a comment they'd like to make?
Good evening. Am I saying my name and address or just my name and organization? Oh, here we go. Name, address, and organization represent. Anthony Creeper, Rogers Right, 3010 Lincoln Boulevard, Black Alliance for Peace. Board members, since your fraudulent health risk assessment that was demonstrated to be bereft of objective scientific conclusions was prosecuted by actual public health experts, the material conditions of Omahans have become more perilous. For instance, the Environmental Protection Agency recently stipulated that the value of human life is $0, which is ironic as a Black man whose life is worth less today in 2026 than when I would have probably been a slave in this country in 1826. And the EPA also this past February rescinded mercury, air, and toxic standards, which now means emission limits on mercury and heavy metals for coal and oil power plants have been removed. And to top it off, EPA, by ending the endangerment findings, has essentially declared that greenhouse gases do not pose a danger to public health. Like EPA, whose administrator Lee Zeldin promotes climate change denialism, as our friend Danny Begley does, or Mr. Begley does as well, so too does your fraudulent health risk assessment. This assessment has still not been rescinded. The people of North Omaha have not been offered an apology, which can only lead us to believe that this body is amenable to climate denialism. Mr. Moody, Mr. Williams were both at a panel that I attended a few weeks ago where employees of the University of Nebraska School of Public Health affirmed that your fraudulent health risk assessment represents a form of climate denialism. And if that's not enough, thanks to the investigative reporting of Flatwater Free Press, we now know that this body is pursuing more data centers onto our grid to a point where it may be possible that public power is eviscerated from the state of Omaha altogether. The people want to know clearly where you stand on this issue of data centers and why you believe that it is okay to bring more gas online to our grid and how that aligns with your purported net zero goals, as Mr. Begley just stated, and your sustainability goals and Strategic Directive 7, which says that you are going to follow the principles of environmental justice. Due to the way that you're acting, I have no other thing but to say, or no other conclusion but to make that instead of holding up the tenets of public power, you all are holding up the tenets of white power.
All right, thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments in the room?
My name is Joshua Monaco, 5004 South 46th Avenue. Today, I'm here as a member of IBEW Local 22. I'm also an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Repeat a little bit of that now. Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Monaco, and I'm proud to be a sibling of Omaha's own IBEW Local 22 and a lifelong resident of the city that moves against the current. I'm here today to voice opposition to the planned construction of even more resource-hungry data centers. I recognize that trading a few short years of overtime for a lifetime of water and power insecurity, poisoned air, on top of all the working class jobs being replaced by AI is not only short-sighted, it is immoral and downright deadly. This plant is so voracious that to power it also requires building yet another toxic LNG plant that generates 3 times the power consumed by the city of Lincoln, as this latest illegal war of aggression drives LNG prices sky high. Finally, I vehemently oppose the continued operation of 2 coal-burning power plants in North Omaha, spreading illnesses among our community. The closure of these plants has been consistently delayed in a blatant effort to place corporate profits above public health. We need public power, not white power. Also, to address some statements made by an earlier person here, solar energy is the cheapest energy to produce. That's a fact. You can look that up on your own time. Also, the People's Republic of China generates 56% of their energy now by renewable sources. So wherever this idea is coming from that it's not feasible is just not based in science or reality. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room that would like to make a comment? Okay, seeing no other comments in the room, do any members of the public joining via WebEx have comments on other items of district business? Please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand.
Vern Carlson.
If you can hear us, go.
You can hear me?
We can hear you. We've got a little bit of feedback, though.
All right, well, my comment is about LB 1261, prohibits the use of eminent domain to acquire certain privately owned electric generation facilities, which effectively protects the data centers and not the public. Senator Jacobson yesterday said that there is no downside that he could think of with this bill. I can think of some. Allowing the data centers to pay for and build their own power generation sounds great, and in some ways it is, but there can be downsides. We don't seem to have much pushback in Nebraska when it comes to farmers polluting our water with nitrates and our land with herbicides and pesticides. I can't imagine that our legislature will protect Nebraskans from new sources of air pollution if the data centers build out natural gas power generation infrastructure and there are no limitations placed on the data centers. I don't really like the idea of building nuclear, and I've heard that you might be looking at 16 new nuclear facilities for the data centers. There's no provisions for decommissioning data centers that choose to leave the state. Nebraska cannot run out of natural gas locally because we get it from other states, but it can hit limits in delivery capacity and affordability. If large data centers build huge gas generators, they won't empty the tank, but they can drive up prices, require new pipelines, and strain infrastructure. How much pollution are we talking about? A single large data center, hyperscale 100 to 500 megawatts of continuous power if powered by natural gas, CO2 emissions 0.4 to 0.5 metric tons. Let's just suffice it to say tons of CO2 equal to 300,000 to 400,000 gasoline cars on the road. Another hidden factor is methane leaks. Natural gas is mostly methane. Methane is 80 times more potent than CO2. The guy that was talking about solar not being efficient, I don't know what he's smoking, but maybe he just likes air pollution. I don't know, but that just seemed kind of retarded to me. Other states like Texas, Iowa, Oklahoma, parts of the Midwest are doing hybrid strategies where they use solar. I don't know if we're
30
asking
seconds.
these large data centers to build out solar and pay for it. Probably not. So they're going to do the cheapest thing they possibly can, which sounds like natural gas. And I don't want them competing with me in the middle of winter for natural gas supplies.
All right, sir, thank you for your comments. Can you give me your name, please? I didn't catch from you.
Vern Carlson.
Hello, go ahead, ma'am.
I'm sorry I got here late.
okay.
So I'm returning back also to the data center discussion.
Ma'am, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Yes.
State your name and address.
I'm
please, before you
okay.
start.
I'm
That's okay.
Melanie Williams. My address is 16022 Orchard Circle. And all right. Good evening. My name is Melanie Williams, and I'm a candidate for Congress in Nebraska's 2nd District. I'm here tonight because the decisions made in this room are not abstract. They determine who breathes clean air, who gets sick, and who is expected to quietly bear that cost. We're now hearing that a proposed data center in Nebraska could require as much electricity as the entire city of Lincoln. Think about that. I'm sure you have. One facility consuming the equivalent power of a major city. And instead of the reality forcing urgent investments in clean, modern energy, what are we hearing? More justifications to keep the North Omaha coal plant open. A plant that was supposed to be shut down years ago. A promise that has been delayed, reworked, and now effectively walked back. Let's be honest about what this means. It means continued pollution in North Omaha. It means higher rates of asthma, heart disease, and premature death. And it means that the burden of powering new development that will not be built in North Omaha, is once again being placed on the backs of the same communities that have carried it for decades. That is not a coincidence, it's a pattern. And patterns like this have a name: institutionalized racism and classism. Because if this plant were located in West Omaha, if it were impacting wealthier, whiter neighborhoods, it would not still be operating today. So the question is not whether we can transition away from coal. The question is, who are we willing to sacrifice while we delay? I'm asking this board to do 3 things. First, honor the original commitment to retire the North Omaha coal plant on a real enforceable timeline. Second, ensure that new large-scale energy demands like data centers are not used as an excuse to extend environmental harm,
30
but as a
seconds.
catalyst to accelerate clean energy investment. And third, commit to transparency and accountability with the communities most impacted, because they deserve not just to be heard, but to be protected and to breathe clean air. No community in this city is expendable, not for profit, not for convenience, not for delay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments online?
David Corbin.
All right, sir, if you can hear me, go ahead, please.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. David Corbin, 1002 North 49th Street, representing the Missouri Valley Group Sierra Club. I won't reiterate what people said about data centers, but I think they did a good job of explaining that. Regarding the North Omaha coal plant, the Douglas County Health Department director reached out to OPPD in a letter related to your resolution 6744 and offered to some ways to improve communication and to request a monitor, a more sophisticated monitor in North Omaha. I remember the first time you extended it for the coal plant, you said you'd help put out purple air monitors and you didn't do that. So I hope that you will be actually working with the Douglas County Health Department and to reach the goals that you state in resolution 6744. Every once in a while, under OPPD letterhead, I receive something from a company that's called Home Serve, and they want to sell me some sort of insurance regarding my interior and exterior electrical systems. I don't know why you formed this partnership, but here's my concern. You keep telling us that on-bill financing cannot be done because it's too cumbersome. You can partner with a bank if you don't want to do it yourself, just as you've partnered with Home Serve. I still don't understand your reluctance to offer on-bill financing for people who want to add solar or energy efficiency to their homes. Finally, you may have seen that City Councilman Pete Festerson is trying to tie TIF funding to affordable housing. And I've
30 seconds.
contacted him, and I hope that you will support this, that to make homes affordable, they also should be energy efficient. Now that plug-in solar is coming, and I heard this morning that the former UL is now UL Solutions, to ensure the safety, that you will be helping people, especially in North Omaha, to have their own solar. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Hey, sir, I'm going to finish online comments and then I'll check in with you. So, all right, thank you. Are there any other comments online?
John Pollock.
All right, Mr. Pollock, go ahead if you can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
John Pollock, 1412 North 35th Street, Omaha. First, I'm in substantial agreement with the comments you just heard from David Corbin, and also pertaining to keeping the coal plants in North Omaha open. I'm going to talk about weather, but there's a concern that a big concern that I have, that we are seeing manifestations of climate change. Of course, the warm weather we're having now and will continue to have is very pleasant for us, especially after our brief cold spell. By the way, that combination of warm, very cold, and then warm is quite damaging to plants. And if anybody is counting on Missouri peaches this year, that crop is in doubt because of the intensity of the cold weather that they also experienced. Right now, we have a very unusual heat dome that's formed over the southwest U.S. For those engineers in the room and statisticians, this is a 4 sigma heat wave with a few spots of 5 sigma, and the temperatures aloft. So it's very, very intense, unprecedented in the records for this time of year. This is a manifestation of global warming because heat and drought allows the air over the Southwest to heat up early. The last time we saw this kind of a pattern was in May 2011, that unseasonably early heat, which eventually culminated in a temperature of 116 degrees in Portland, Oregon in June. We're not immune from that kind of heat. It should be, at least in the back of your minds, that it can go above 110 degrees around here in the summer. So, meanwhile, continued above normal temperatures in the general outlook. We're dry also. There's going to be subnormal snowmelt this year across virtually the entire Rockies. We're hoping for above
30
normal
seconds.
precipitation in April. If we don't get it, Missouri river levels are going to be running quite low, and that might affect your power generation from those coal plants down the line. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments online? Okay. All right, sir. Thank you for your patience.
This one right here?
Yep. Go ahead and just start with your name and address, please.
Hi. Hi, my name is Calvin Gravy. I am at 7114 Jones Circle. And I am with the group, the OCC Omaha Cares Coalition. So I don't have anything kind of prepared right now. I kind of made this a last minute decision to kind of come up here and speak. But I would kind of like to talk more about the data centers and kind of more from a perspective of humanity, from like making a human to human connection. I'm sure you guys all have children or, have grandchildren or nieces or nephews or, things of that nature. And I worked in childcare, and I can't tell you the number of times I was nearly moved or broke down in tears because of everything that is happening around the world and just the bleak future. And these data centers are going to cause a lot of a bleaker future if we continue to let it go through. Right now, we are already experiencing a climate catastrophe that many experts have predicted by the end of this decade, we would be past that point of no return. I think we are already past that point of no return. And I think that if we are not, these data centers are definitely going to push us way beyond that past the point of return. So, and I apologize if this sounds very blunt, but if you do not stop this, the blood will be on all of your hands for everybody that does not, struggles with any sort of illness or any sort of breathing, condition that as a result of this. So I'm pleading from a human to human, from human to human, please think about the future. Think about what you guys are signing off on, or, think about, what we're debating. We should not be having these debates. We need to be moving in a revolutionary aspect when it comes to our climate catastrophe, because if we don't, it will be too late. Okay, thank you. That's all I have for you. I appreciate your time for letting me come up in here and speak.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your comments. Do any directors have comments before the meeting's over? All right. With that, then, our meeting's adjourned for the night. Thank you all.